starting with just a.
We can go right into questions if you want.
That's good enough for me. Sure good to get away the first thing out of the box.
Coach, 375 yards rushing today, 432 overall on offense, defense. You held them 272 yards rushing. You said you wanted to be the best rushing team in the country, and you want to stop rushing, and you want to be the best defensive team at stopping the rush. How did you feel you did on that today?
I thought we did a good job of getting some good, hard, tough runs on the inside. We got a good offensive line, and for the most part, they were able to get some push and get some movement up front. There were a couple times they got us for a couple lost yardage plays, I believe. I didn't look at how many we had, but there was a couple, and a couple of short, kind of got stuffed runs. But for the most part, I thought they did a good job, and we were able to run the quarterback and the B-backs in the interior. We hit a couple plays on the perimeter. Was the longest run of the day the fake punt? It probably was.
Noah had that long run.
Oh, Noah had that long run, didn't he? So we gained a few there too. But I was happy with the way we ran the football and controlled the clock, and the fact that we were able to get into the end zone for a touchdown on every drive, which it doesn't matter how many times you have it. If you score a touchdown every time you have it, it's usually going to end up being pretty good for you. Defensively, I felt like at half we were kind of in a bend don't break mode. We gave them that first touchdown, and that was a good drive on their part. They took it 75 yards and punched in the end zone, and they give them credit, they looked good on that drive. And there were some other times where we had them in 1st and 25, and we gave up 22 yards on the pass play, and they were able to get the ball down there, and we picked the ball off in the end zone. But I'd like for us to make them punt a little bit more, and the run game for them was sometimes pretty good. At times we did a good job getting off blocks and getting them stopped, but they had some good run plays in there themselves, running the quarterback, running their tailback, and so I thought their team played really hard, and I noticed on the very last touchdown, there's less than a minute to go, and their defense was out there, and they rushed the PAT really hard, like it mattered, and it says a lot for their culture. So I thought their team fought and played hard. I was glad we were able to come away with a win, running the ball and doing a pretty good job stopping the run.
And Coach, you had, it was mentioned 9 players on defense started their first game. Talked to Donovan Platt, who came up with an interception. And Caleb Fortner, 8 tackles on the day. How did you feel like your young defense played?
I thought those guys played really hard and for the most part played pretty well. They're not all void of experience. Donovan's played in games. Damon Washington's played in games. Caleb Fortner's played certainly a lot for us at inside linebacker. Kyle Lewis and Jacob T.O.T. and Andre Miller, Jack Latour, Chance Keith. He's not had a lot of experience. He's probably one of the least experienced guys in terms of the time he's had on defense. Ella Mendoza, he's played a little on special teams, some situational stuff as a freshman, but those 2 guys are playing a lot for the first time. But we got a lot of guys in there, Max and Larkin, who have been in games. So though they may be starting together or starting for the first time, they've got plenty of experience, and we had confidence in those guys and confidence that they would go out there and be able to execute the fundamentals and perform. So, like I said, there's things we can do better. There's things we can do on offense a lot better. Special teams, there's every area. There always is. There's always areas to improve. But I thought the defense, like I said, came up with some plays when we needed it. I wish we wouldn't bend as much, and hopefully as we go through the year, we'll bend less. But if they don't get in the end zone, I guess that's the bottom line. But flipping the field position, where they start on their own 25 and they're punting it into the end zone, or we're picking a ball off in the end zone, it's a pretty good shift to field position. So it's a field position game, and the better field position we get on offense, certainly the better chance we're going to have to score.
One last quick question about Andon Thomas on the second drive on the punt. You call for him to get a direct snap. What were you thinking on that? And is that, they said, I think on the media that it helped to have the radio in the helmet. Was that a factor?
So I didn't communicate with him at all. I have the ability to communicate with him on that play, but I didn't communicate with him at all. It's just a call that we have. They took it from the sideline out to the field. He's got the opportunity to take the play if it's there, and the look that we wanted was there. So he called for it, and he's actually the guy that calls it and did a good job. They got a couple blocks for him. It started off, looked like he was going to get stuffed there, and he kind of wiggled out and had a good, nice run. So I didn't want to start this season, our first offensive drive, with a punt. We've got a new offensive coordinator. The system we're running this year is a little bit different, and I want our guys to have some confidence. And if we didn't make it, we didn't make it. Go play defense, and we had a lot of game left at that point. That I figured that if we gave the ball back to them and they went and scored, we're going to find a way to score ourselves and put ourselves back in the ball game. But it worked out, and we had a nice game, and we were able to finish the drive with a touchdown.
Thanks, Coach.
A little bit of gutsy call there, Coach, or no?
Gutsy?
Yeah.
I don't know if you think it's going to work. How much guts does it take? I thought I was confident it was going to work. So it didn't. It was a pretty easy call. And you know what? If it wasn't there, he could have called it off, and we just punt. It's not an all or nothing play. So he could have just called it off, and we'd have punted there, and been disappointed that we had to punt it.
The distribution on the offense with a lot of guys getting different carries, fresh legs, how much you think that helped you guys to?
There are plenty of guys that are capable of carrying the football for us, and I'm not anointing any of our guys as All-Americans or anything like that. They're just tough guys, and they care about the team, and they're gonna run the ball hard and play the best they can for our team because they care about their teammates. And so fortunately we got Kanye Udo, who's I think a very talented player, and he showed the ability to run with some power today and break tackles and stiff arm guys, which was really fun to watch and encouraging. The touchdown run he had down there in the corner on our sideline was a great run. Hayden Reed's one of our best football players, so to be able to get him the ball, and he's very slippery and finds his way into holes and seams and gains positive yards. And Rendine is just a hammerhead. He moves the pile. He's a strong, tough runner. And I mean, our quarterback's tough as nails. So he runs the ball and gains positive yards, knocks people back. And we had a couple plays that were negative yardage plays, but those plays were not a guy just getting knocked back because he couldn't move the guy that was trying to tackle him. Most of those were perimeter plays or balls that got out to the edge and they had an angle on us. And so I like the running backs that we've got. The slots they're all a little different. Miles and Hayden's playing slot, and Noah Short and Samori Howard, they're all a little bit different, but all capable of carrying the ball. And they're doing a good job of blocking on the perimeter for each other. So, so it's not perfect, and we got a lot of things to improve, but a lot of confidence in that group of guys that we got.
Coach, 1-0, the last 2 years start 0-1, going into the the American Conference game next week. What does that mean going into with a win?
It's a lot nicer to be 1-0 than 0-1. I can tell you that. Being 0-1 isn't worth a damn. So glad we got the victory tonight. We're going to play a team next week that's a lot better than the one we played tonight, more talented, and we're going to have to play better. We can't bend as much as we bent on defense and expect to play as well next week. We can't have negative yardage plays and short yardage plays and early downs in drives against FAU and put ourselves in 3rd and long. It's going to be hard to overcome against talented teams like Florida Atlantic. We're getting ready to play in a great league. It's a very talented league, very well-coached league. And of the group of 5 conferences in the country, it's, in my opinion, as good as there is. And other conferences will make their arguments for their teams, but there's a lot of parity in the league. There's a lot of teams at the top of this league that are outstanding teams that have played in New Year's 6 games and beaten Power 5 teams. And so it's a strong league, and it's going to take a strong effort and performance on our part to compete and play in the league. But we're excited about that opportunity.
Turnovers, I think, were 2-0. You always talk about how important turnovers are.
They are, and those two were big. The one going toward the building here, the pick was important. They were kind of getting themselves into scoring position, and then, like I said, they pushed that ball down after having first and 25. They're getting ready to score, and we made the pick in the corner of the end zone. So those were big. We couldn't have emphasized carrying the ball with two hands more than we did. I mean, we work ball security every day, but I'm just constantly talking about the importance of squeezing the ball and having two hands on the ball. And so I was really proud of our guys for that. The ball exchanges were good. The pitches, the one that I probably was most disappointed with was the one that Bryson tried to force it on our sideline, and it careened off the hand of our pitch back and went out of bounds. Those things we can't do. That's a major error for us. He's just trying to make a play, but he's got to eat it at that point, and so we can't do those things. But we took care of the ball. We got up off the ground with the ball about every time. I think Bryson on one of the sneaks, it popped out of there late. He was down. The whistle had blown, but I like for our guys to stand up and hand the ball to the official after every play that we've got it. It just confirms that we've hung on to the ball and it's still ours.
Thank you.
We've seen several players tonight play multiple positions. Was that just about getting them ready in case of an inevitable injury, or is that just to try and make sure that the opposition knows that there's different things out there they've got to worry about?
Well, Hayden Reed played several different places, just at the slot and the V-back position. I don't know that we had a lot of other guys moving around. We've got some linemen on our team that can play different positions on the line. On defense, there's like Trey Sophia. He can play a defensive end position. He can play the outside linebacker position. He just played D-line tonight, but Hayden's probably the guy that you see moving around a good bit. With the motions and the shifts and those kinds of things, it may look like guys are playing a different position, but they're pretty settled into where they're at in the lineup.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Good in the room. We'll go to a couple on Zoom. Joe from Go Black Knights, go ahead.
Hey, Coach Monken, congratulations on the win. First question, I know last week after the last scrimmage, you said you definitely wanted to cut down on the pre-snap penalties and unforced errors. You only had the one tonight. Obviously, I know you'd like it to be 0, but is that an improvement over what you've seen?
It is. I mean, I'm not satisfied unless it's 0, but it was better, and because we've had some issues with that as we've gone through preseason camp, and it was Hayden Reed who jumped on that one play, and frankly, I told him in practice we've had the same issue with him. He just gets he's just amped up and ready to go, and on the start of the snap count he just flinches for whatever reason. So he's got to grow out of that, and so he will. I was proud of our guys for not being antsy like that and jumping on snap counts. And the Lehigh played an entirely different defense than we anticipated. It's not their base defense, at least in terms of the way their defensive coordinators defended option in the past. So, but we had practiced against that defense every day in camp against our own defense. We were really anticipating a different front. So I was proud of our guys for managing that and doing a good job, and they didn't panic.
And 4th and goal from the 3, the option play to Noah Short that went for a touchdown.